Hey guys, what's up? So in this one we're going to be doing the Vishnu Guild Boss. This is P5X Global version 1.4, week 1. As for turn order, I have Lufel 1, Wonder 2, Key 3, and On 4. And we are going to be using Phoebe as our navigator here. If you don't have Phoebe, go ahead and use Okyann, or whichever Navi you're not using on the other side, or you don't plan on using on the other side. I have not tested with Puppet, but with Okyann, what you're going to want to do is Okyann's first action, you're going to want to use her skill 3. Then her second time she gets to act, you're also going to want to use her skill 3. And then she'll be able to, on the final turn, use her skill 1, so you can stack her skill 3, skill 1 for the final turn of the weekend phase. I'll try and mention that in the fight as we go, too. As for what Wonder's going to be using here, he's going to be using the Senknight Inferno Dagger, Dionysus, Baphomet, and then any third persona, just pick your highest level persona you're not using on the other side. So for Dionysus, we're going to need Rebellion and Tarukaja on him for this. It's the pretty standard Dionysus build on this one, and feel free to add Agility Master if you need to try and speed tune Wonder a little bit. And as for Baphomet, all you're going to need is his Red Hot ability, which he comes with. We really just want to use him for his passive ability, which lets him, after using a skill on a foe that has burn, it increases all foes' fire damage taken by 20% for one turn, so that'll be useful in our last turn in trying to maximize damage. And I finally remembered, so as for card sets on everybody, Key is running Departure and Control, Panther is running Acceptance and Strife, Cattle is running Departure and Prosperity, and Phoebe is running Trust and Power. And then just real quick before we hop into the fight here, I do just want to mention that yes, I am using an A5 on. This is an on that is in our guild. This is 16-bit Bear's on. He managed to get 5 dupes on her, and he was nice enough to put her up for us to use in the guild. So shout out to Bear on that one. And I do not have an A0 on to test, unfortunately, but I do believe this rotation should be followable for any awareness on. All right, so let's get into it here. We're going to go ahead and use skill 1 for Lufel. Wonder is going to use Rebellion on. Key is going to go ahead and use skill 2 on the boss. If by chance the boss doesn't get burn inflicted by, I think it's Lufel, at the start of the fight, his passive and also his skill 1, he has 2 chances to get it. If you feel like restarting to try and get burn so that you can use Key's skill 2 here, feel free. Not super important, but if he doesn't have burn applied on him, use Key's skill 1 there instead of his skill 2. And then with On, we're going to go ahead and use her skill 1. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and use Lufel's highlight. Phoebe is going to use her skill 1 on. If you have Okyann here, go ahead and use her skill 3. And then Lufel's going to go ahead and use skill 1 again. Now Wonder is going to go ahead and switch to Baphomet and use Red Hot on the boss. You really just have to make sure you use that skill on someone who has burn to get the 20% fire boost. And then Key's going to go ahead and use skill 1 on the boss. If you didn't know, Key's skill 1, when you use it on someone who has burn, turns into an AoE. Alright, so now On is going to go ahead and use her skill 3. Alright, now Lufel is going to go ahead and use his healing skill. It's probably not... You probably could get away with the skill 1 here, but I like to just play it safe. Not like his skill 1's doing a ton of damage anyway. It's not really contributing, and losing anybody here would basically be a restart. So, alright, now you're going to go ahead and swap back to Dionysus, and then you're going to want to use Wonder's highlight. And then use Tarukaja on. Now Phoebe's up against, we're going to go ahead and use Phoebe's skill 1 here. On. If you have Okyann, you would still have 2 turns before she's able to go again. Her weight is 8 instead of 6 for her skill 3. So whenever it would be Okyann's second turn, just use skill 3 again. And then Key is going to go ahead and use skill 1 on the boss, inflict burn on everybody. Alright, now Ann is going to go ahead and use her skill 1. Lufel is going to use Healing Satellite. I'm going to use it on him, but if one of your units is like critically low, go ahead and use it on them. Lufel's just a little bit squishier, I found, so. Alright, now Wonder is going to go ahead and use Rebellion again on An. Key is going to go ahead and use Ring of Fire on the boss. Alright, then just real quick, there is a chance that he could get crit on one of those moves from the 4 ads. If he does, you're probably going to have to restart because we need to use his highlight right away in the weaken phase. And if he's knocked down until his turn, we will not have enough time to use his and An's both in the weaken phase. So it's annoying, but if he gets knocked down, you probably will have to restart here. And then An's going to go ahead and use her skill 3. And we will enter the weaken phase now. So we're going to go ahead and start by using Phoebe's skill 3 on An. And then we're going to go ahead and use Key's highlight. Lufel is going to go ahead and use his skill 1 on the boss. Wonder is going to go ahead and use Revolution on An. And then with Key here, if all of them have 2 turns of burn on them still, you can go ahead and use his skill 2 for the next 2 turns. If one of them either has 1 turn of burn and is going to lose it for the last turn or something, go ahead and use his skill 1 on the boss again, just to re-inflict burn. Having the burn is more important than whatever, little damage boost you'd get from using skill 2 twice. I'm going to go ahead and use skill 2 twice because it seems like they all have burn for 2 more turns, so. And then An is going to go ahead and use her skill 1. And it is fun to just watch them all take the burn damage. Alright, then Lufel is going to go ahead and use skill 1. Wonder is going to go ahead and switch to Baphomet and use his skill 1 on the boss. Key is going to go ahead and use his skill 2 again. And then we're going to go ahead and use An's highlight. And finish this up with her skill 3. And we should get a little bit more damage out of the burn. And 25 mil. So not a record, but still I think a pretty good score. I haven't seen a ton of other people's scores, but I think this is probably still top 1% anyway, so pretty good there. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, hopefully you got something good out of that. Again, if you don't have Phoebe and you're using Okyann, every time Okyann is available to take an action, use her skill 3, and then the second time use her skill 3 again, and then on her final turn use her skill 1. You want to make sure that you are stacking that skill 3 and skill 1 on the last turn for as much damage as you can on An's turn. So, and then I will leave the Lufelnet turn order card up again on the screen for the last couple of seconds of the video. And so hopefully you got something good out of this. You found kind of a rotation to loosely base yours off of. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.